Hello anybody and welcome back to Let's Play Donkey Kong Country 3, Dixie Kong's Double Trouble. I'm Mr. Devious, or just Deeb, and in today's episode we are going to be continuing on the snow world of the game K3. We may even finish it, but let's get right into the next level, Crackshot Croc. Now very interestingly, even though we're in a snow world, most of the levels are not necessarily snow themed, and for this level we're going to be going back to an industrial level. But the coding of this level works really well with the cooler colors in the ideas and in favor of like a snow-themed world. So this is like a very cold factory. It's very unwelcoming and it just seems like it would be cold to walk through here. But I'm not even talking about the main gimmick of this level, the Crackshot Croc, in which you have to play through Squitter throughout this entire level, and the whole while there is a cursor following you and trying to shoot you with more cheese puffs. For some reason, cheese puffs are just a recurring theme of the industrial levels, but, you know, projectiles in general, I think, is like the main binding feature of these level types. Also, for some reason, the liquids and just the general hot aspects are made into a pink color, which it looks really nice. It's a very appealing color for this palette, and they just gave this level in general a very good color, a very good aesthetic, and I'm a fan. And as you can see, this is pretty much exactly what it looks like. You just gotta get the presents again, or the green bananas if they're green bananas. All you really need is like one web in the middle of the stage, and from there you can pretty much reach green banana wherever it spawns, so I don't even worry about it. Easy peasy. If you hit L and R at the same time, you will just immediately drop a web directly beneath you, and that's a very useful tool to have, particularly in this level, where you not only have to dodge a cursor, but also, you know, not get hit. I mean, dodge a cursor, but you're also platforming in some pretty precarious locations in which your footing is not always assured and you have to, you know, you're stopping and going. The whole idea with the webs is that you're constantly stopping and going and you never really have sure footing to stand on. But if you've done this level a few times before, you kind of get a good feeling of the webs and like their momentum and their movement and However, if you're falling very quickly, it is hard to, you can't just kind of place a web directly beneath you while you're following, or while you're falling. Your best chance is to not do what I did. I was trying to demonstrate that you kind of want to do it as you're moving upward. And you want to, it's not so much that you're hitting L and R at the same time as you're pressing one of them and then the other one in quick succession, in super quick succession. We're not doing too bad though, aside from those two hits that we took that were a little bit annoying, but, you know, mostly they were because I was trying to demonstrate a certain move and I failed. But sometimes a teacher must fail in teaching their students. It's a little arrogant of me to call myself a teacher and you guys my students, so forget I said that. And as you can see, if you're very careful, you can end up on those little spaces in between the giant vats. So that's kind of something you can take advantage of. And we damage boosted through there. I think that for this level in particular, you can use damage boosting to your advantage if you're trying to do a speed run. Because, you know, otherwise, as I've said before, this is very much stop and go platforming, so it's slow. It's not great. Getting past that red buzz will bring you up here to the other bonus barrel of this level, in which we have to bash the baddies and shoot them down. But the very fun gimmick of this bash the baddies is that we take control of this cursor and have to shoot down our enemies, which is basically a bunch of recoils. It's pretty much impossible to miss the recoils if you just kind of hover slightly above the things that they're hiding behind. But believe it or not, this cursor is actually pretty slippery and not the easiest thing in the world to control, but this is a very cool gimmick, and I'm a big fan of what they did here. And there we go. And now, all you gotta do is shoot the coin, and that brings this bonus level to an end. I'm a big fan of a bonus level like that, because at first you have no idea what's really going on. It's like, where am I? And then you realize you're the cursor, and it's like, whoa, that's super cool. Anyway, we're mostly through this level, and it's going pretty well, I gotta say. Maybe it's because the cursor isn't as threatening as I remember it being. It is pretty tense to worry about if this is like, if you're not used to this kind of threat in a game. But it is a cool idea, and one of the reasons that I really enjoy the industrial levels is that they do some really creative things, pretty much exactly like this. Woo! That was a little bit dangerous. Those bananas in the middle pretty much always... they always hold some goodies. I do like how this sign is here, though, and I like that it's a metal sign, too, for some reason. It just seems right that the target is being denied by a metal sign, whereas we get denied by a wooden sign. I know it sounds like very, like, what the hell are you talking about, Mr. Devious, but I think it works very well thematically. Now, you want to be careful with this keg, because if you screw it up, you gotta do the whole level again if you want another shot at that coin, so that is very frustrating. Look up Smog's video of a pacifist run of this level. It's pretty cool to watch, and, you know, it's a pretty cool time. Now that we've taken care of that level, that'll bring us to the next level, Lemguin Lunge. But we're not going to go there quite yet, because if you... okay, I can't actually do the thing I was thinking about yet, so never mind me, because we're going to be going on to Lemguin Lunge. And this will bring us to the other snowy level in this world, in which we have to deal with an entirely new enemy type designed specifically for this world, the Lemguins. But we're not actually going to look at them just yet, because first things first, we gotta get ourselves into that barrel up there, which is a little bit dangerous because there's a buzz directly beneath it, but it's not too hard. You have more aerial movement with Dixie when you throw her than you might think you do. So we gotta find the coin, and here's where we get to see the Lemguins. They pretty much just pop out of that hole infinitely, and that's all you have to do. As you can see from my demonstration, your best method in dealing with them is to jump from one to another. If they're spaced apart enough, or like if they're close together enough, you can do that. Otherwise, it might be better to jump between them. It's one of those things that it's like not all Lemguin holes are programmed the same, so you gotta be careful and kind of, you know, use your judgment on each one that you're doing. It's another neat concept, though, and I do like it. I think it's neat that they combined lemmings with penguins and kind of made this entirely new enemy type. That one is a jerk. I think the hit detection is a little bit strange, but I don't want to blame the game too much for that. It's mainly just a question of how greedy can you be? A big part of this level is also just kind of patience and kind of moving along a little bit at a time so you can figure out the timing of the Lemguins so that you can get a nice rhythm going, bouncing off of them and in between them. And they really play around with the sky effects in this level in particular. So I feel like the snow levels, I mentioned this before in a previous snow level, is that the Donkey Kong Country games use their snow levels for like background effects and foreground effects, and just a lot of experimentation in aesthetics in general, with like just shifting colors and weather, and it's really, they usually do it to very good success. I'm always a fan. Kind of disappointed that the closest thing that Donkey Kong Country 2 had to a snow level was, you know, ice caves, and they were very pretty and had very nice music, but they just weren't the same. We did find this other bonus barrel with pretty much no trouble, though. The only challenge here is that you gotta have to just do little jumps, and that'll bring you to the end here. Not bad at all. The biggest challenge that I always find with the Lemguin holes is figuring out when exactly they're gonna pop out as you get close to the hole itself. But we didn't really have too much trouble this time around. Just throwing Dixie Kong up there in search of any secrets. And that level is completed. That brings us to an end of all the levels in K3. And now that we're here, if we press up, that'll take us up a hidden path to Blizzard's base camp. My word, how on earth did you find me up here? Well, never mind about that. My name's Blizzard. I've been up here getting ready for weeks to conquer my attempts to conquer K3. It looks like I'm going to miss my best friend Blue's birthday. Aw, Blue, you remember Blue. Say, could you do me a favor, Kongs? Snow way, or snow problem. That's great. Could you take him this present for me, please? I'd be ever so grateful. So, yeah. I never found this my first or second time playing this game because it's not necessarily clear that you have to press up from here to get to Blizzard's base camp. But if you go another step, you can find a glacial grotto. Woohoo! That has another secret in it. Another banana bird. Now I might screw this one up because I don't totally remember it. Yep, I messed it up. Let's try that again. As you can see, these sequences are getting longer pretty much every time we do them, so they are getting harder. And when we get to the last few banana birds, it's not going to be great. Not going to be great at all. Now before we move up to the boss of this world, we're going to do one more stop off at Swanky's Sideshow. And even though we don't necessarily need the money, there is a good reason that this is in the game other than just getting money. And we're going to be seeing the reason for it soon. At last I'm out of retirement. Now I'll make a monkey out of you. Okay, Cranky Kong, you just keep saying that. Unfortunately, we kind of screwed up our opportunity there to get an early lead, so, you know, don't look at the thing on the right. Don't look at the meter. It's easier to just, you know, just focus on it. It's not fair. Some of your targets were twice the size of mine. We haven't seen one ending to this game that would be pretty funny to see. But we get a reward. I did check it, and the rewards are always the same. If you lose, you actually get 1 coin back, so at most the game doesn't cost you, you know, it's a consolation prize of 1 coin and some bananas, but that means the cost of the minigame is never more than 1 coin. But I digress. It's time for us to move up on to the boss of this world, Bleak's house. That's a reference to a book, actually, but who is Bleak? Bleak is a snowman. And unlike other bosses in this game, this comes with the unique aspect of being a snowball fight. And now you can see the whole reason that they put Swanky's Sideshow in this game is for pretty much this exact purpose. You might be asking what those lines are in like the second row in the second snowbank, and all I have to say to that is don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. At all. It's fine. So yeah, this boss pretty much just comes down to you have to pelt him in not just his body, you have to hit him in the glowing orb on his chest. After you hit him a couple of times, he'll do this a volley of giant snowballs to try and hit you. And then you just pelt him right in the chest again. Then you have to go back and dodge his patterns again. I think you have to hit him a total of 8 times for this fight. But here he fires them back and forth. The main difference, of course, between this and Swanky's Sideshow is you're not just hitting targets, you're also dodging projectiles coming from the other end. It sure would have been funny if, you know, in Swanky's Sideshow, well, we got hit, so never mind. That laugh he does is very, very creepy, and now we're about back to where we were before, about the halfway point of the fight, in which he doesn't stay in the same spot as long, and he throws a lot faster, so he's just a lot harder to hit in general. Your main focus, of course, is dodging before hitting. Okay, maybe you only need to hit this guy about 6 times, I guess? Yeah, it looks like it's only going to be 6 times in total. But as I was saying, it would have been really interesting if in Swanky's Sideshow you had games where you had to basically throw balls back and forth between Crank and you. And for our efforts, we destroy the world and get a bonus coin. Again, don't worry about that. That's nothing at all. And we slide on down and out of this world. And that brings K3 to a close. K3 with an exclamation mark. I am going to check the time, though, just to check for one more thing. Alright, so before we bring this episode to a close, there's a couple of things I want to do. Now that we've gotten a couple of items before we go on to the next world, since we were able to get the present from Blizzard, we're going to be going back to Cottontop Cove with that present for Blue. So we're going to go and deliver that to him.
A present for me? Oh, thank you, Kongs. You've really made my day. Let's have a look inside.
The music picks up because he's really happy.
Oh, it's a bowling ball. Well, it's far too heavy for me. I know. Why don't you have it, Kongs?
So all Blue really wanted was for somebody to remember his birthday. It wasn't about the present, it was about the thought that counted. Let that be a lesson for you in real life. People they want to be remembered and appreciated. So it doesn't really come down to the present or what exactly it is. You just need to remember them and care about them. Now that we've got ourselves a bowling ball, though, we're going to take it on over to Bazooka's barracks. What are we doing with a bowling ball over here?
I have lots of old artillery, you know, but this is my favorite. What a noise! What have you got there, Kongs? A heavy ball? Well, you never know. It might just work. Shall we load up Big Bessie up and fire her off?
Lock and load, sir.
Okay, let's give it a go. Ready? Aim!
And we're going to jump into the back. Why did we do that? Why did we jump into the cannon? Simple. To fire ourselves up to the sky-high secret. So let's go in there. What is the sky-high secret? It's another banana bird puzzle. So yeah, that was basically an item fetch quest of 2 items to get 1 banana bird. Just a small thing about this platform that we're on, the Sky High Secret. I never realized this until this Let's Play, but it's dangling in the air from a rope attached to a crane in the background. I always thought that this area was just floating for some reason. I had no idea what it was, but now that I can see that it's being dangled from a crane, I feel very silly for not knowing the whole time what it actually was. But that pretty much brings an end to what I wanted to do in this episode, pretty much. Aside from one other thing, Mr. Devious, will you spare us from this nonsense? Will you end this episode ever? Perhaps I will, but only after we go to this other bear hut, Barter's Swap Shop.
Well, good day to you, Kongs. How are you? The name's Barter. Whoops, have you seen me washers? That posing funky fella has been acting a bit weird lately.
Posing?
I swear he's been working on some super secret project, but I reckon it's just some silly pop dream. Dirty? I'd take a look in a mirror if I were you.
Speaking of mirrors...
Is that a mirror? If it is, could I possibly borrow it?
I could call him Buster, but I'm not going to. I'm going to give him the mirror so we can see what he looks like.
Thanks for that, Kongs. Oh no, look at the state of me. I'm a wreck. Take this wrench. I don't need it now.
And so for a mirror, for Cranky's 50-coin mirror, we were able to get a wrench. What will we do with that wrench? Well, we're just going to have to see that possibly in the next episode when we move on to the 6th world of the game, Razor Ridge. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.